All right. So we've got, again, wrists, elbows are going to be like more of an emphasis, but we're going to get after a lot of the body here. So we're going to start off with some breathing. All right, we'll work that in today. So I'm going to have us go lying down on our back, knees bent, so just comfortable position. There we go. And we're going to focus on our exhales and focus on expanding 360 degrees. So if you had a belt on around your whole torso, we want to expand out in every direction. All right, so start off, long exhale. Think about those ribs coming down towards your hips, down towards the floor. And nice big inhale, expanding into your sides and back. Belly too, but I don't want that belly popping right up. I want it going elsewhere. Long exhale. Nice big inhale, especially into your back, sides, chest, belly. With each inhale, we're trying to get a little bit more expansion and make it as even as possible, inflating those areas that are a little resistant. And as you go, I want you to work on holding that exhale for a moment too. So if you can hold for 2 to 3 seconds, that's fantastic. I know it might not be comfortable, but think about fully exhale, forcing all the air out. Bring the rib cage towards the hips, down towards the floor. Hold and inhale. And we'll just do a couple more there. Observing where that air goes. Observing how well you're able to redirect it. If you find that it wants to go all one place, can you redirect it somewhere else? There we go. Another nice breath here. Okay. Then we get to actually stay in this position. So I'm going to have you lying down. We're going to maintain that focus of the rib cage staying pretty down towards your hips, down towards the floor. A little tuck of the pelvis. And I'm going to have you take your arms, reach both your hands towards the ceiling. Then stretch them back towards the floor. See if you can get to the floor. You don't have to. Observe what happens with your ribs. We don't want them to flare up and your back to arch. So I'm going to keep the tuck, keep the rib cage pulled down. Then come back up with the arms. Nice. And we're going to do that again. So you're going to reach back, elbows stay straight. How far can you reach your arms toward the floor? Not allowing the rib cage to move. So we want the rib cage to stay down towards your hips. Observe how that feels. Then we're going to do a little partial shoulder car. So we're going to come back up, reach towards the ceiling. Good. And we're going to reach down again. So same deal, same initial thing. Reach down, see if you can touch the floor. And it's like a little floor angel. Probably not snow angel for anybody. So once you come down, you're going to sweep your arms down to your sides. Good. And then you're just going to reach back up again. So big, slow floor angel. Reaching back. Good. Get to the floor. Sweep your arms. Nothing changes with your torso. Reaching up again. We'll go one more time. So I talk a lot about low barrier mobility options. This is a really good one. You get a little assistance for part of the range from the floor, but you get some nice feedback from the floor for flexion. Beautiful. All right, now we can come up. Hopefully everyone's still awake there. Awesome. And we're going to get into some knee cars. So for those of you who joined a little later here, wrists and elbows are going to be a primary emphasis, but we're going to get into the rest of the body too. So for the knees, we're going to start off just by doing a few rotations with the shin. So we're going to rotate and rotate, pivoting off that heel. All right. So we will get the hips involved today. We'll get the shoulders involved. I am going to have you do a couple push-ups at least. So I know how exciting that is for everybody. Yes, Alex is ready for it. Excellent. I did some yesterday. In case any of you are looking to do really heavy push-ups and just haven't been able to, you can put stuff on your back and do them. It makes it really fun. Let's go ahead and switch up the legs. Or people. You can put people on your back. Or animals. Consenting people and animals. So we'll do here, just like the other side, trying to rotate that shin. I don't need you creating any crazy tension right now. Just try to encourage some rotation. And recall that rotation is really, really important for the knees and for most of our joints. Evolutionarily, knees and elbows are not so different. So we're going to work more on the elbows than the knees today, but rotation is important for the elbows as well. Now, we're going to go back to the other knee, and I'm going to have you hook, as long as it's comfortable, hook your elbow underneath. Take your hand into the crook of your other arm, cross it, and you can put your other hand on top of your thigh. And then from here, you're not going to get a ton of extension, probably. That's okay. But what I want you to do is rotate that shin inward, extend as much as you're able, rotate externally, pull the heel in. Rotate, extend, rotate, pull in. Rotate, extend, rotate, pull in. Then we'll reverse. So you're going to extend while you're externally rotated. Internally rotate. That's usually pretty tough. Pull in. External, extend, internal, pull in. And we'll just go for one more there. Yep. And pull in. So rotation important. Also important to be able to rotate at different degrees of flexion and extension. So same thing with the other side, okay? If this is not super comfortable, you can also just hold your leg up or lean back into something for support. So we're going to rotate internally, extend, externally, pull in. Turning that shin internally as we extend, external, pull in. And we'll go for one more here. There we go. And now hold that external, extend as much as you can, rotate internally, pull in. And that internal rotation, especially as we get closer to extension, is going to be a little tougher for most people. And that's pretty normal. Boom, boom, boom. All right, excellent. You can relax. You can either take your arms behind you or you can lean back into something. We're just going to work on some ankle cars. So I'm going to have you go point your toes, rotate in, pull up, rotate out. So thighs, we don't want our thighs or shins moving. And with our legs straight, our shins are not going to rotate. So the most common compensation you'll see for the ankles is just going to be those thighs try to rotate. Nice. As you pull your toes up on this rep, then we're going to reverse, rotate in, point, out, pull up. At least in class, I tend to do a lot of bent knee ankle cars, but it will hit tissues a little differently if we do them straight. So important to work on both. There we go. Last rep here. Okay, now we get to stand up. So we're going to work the hips a little bit here. So we've done something similar before, at least some of you have, where we do a closed kinetic chain hip rotation, which means that the foot stays planted. So for your left leg, you're going to plant your left foot down. You're going to just use this other leg as kind of a kickstand to pivot off of. And I'm going to have you sink into your hip a little bit. Okay? You're going to rotate pelvis and torso over this left hip and then rotate back. Good. So your knee, your knee's going to move a little bit. This leg's going to move somewhat, but I want most of that movement coming from the pelvis and torso, rotating over the hip. And I want you to think now about this left hip, these muscles here, pulling you in. Imagine from here to here, they're contracting to pull you in this way. Then you're driving through your left foot, the outside of the hip, to push you out. Now you can get a little more awareness here and a little more stretch if, as you come in, put your right hand on the outside of your knee, drive out against it. You're coming in, you're going to feel a stretch on the outside of your hip. Then push towards the inside of your knee as you rotate out. You can even switch hands if you'd like. You'll be able to pry out a little bit further. So you're rotating in, you can grab the outside of your knee and pull. Good. Rotate out, drive through the inside of your knee. And we'll go one more time. And you're only going whatever range you feel comfortable in. But adding this little push can help you find a little bit better stretch, activate some different things in your hip. And then you can relax there. Shake it out a moment, and then we get to do the same thing with the other hip. Okay, so first we'll start off nice and easy. You're planting that right leg. Your left foot is what you're going to pivot off of, and you're just exploring some rotation. Okay, and I like being sunk down a little bit because I can feel a little more going on, a little more room for movement. But that is also going to get the legs a little more fatigued. As we go again, think about these tissues pulling that pelvis inward. And the tissues on the outside of your right leg driving you away. Pulling in, driving away. And then we can add this pull with the left hand on the outside of the knee. As you come in, you're resisting a little bit. And then as you're pushing away, you're resisting a little bit, finding a big stretch. Nice. Pulling in. Pushing away. Staying solid through that hip. We'll go one more each way. So this gets us some nice hip rotation, a little stretch, really warms up those hips. And when we interact with the ground, our hips need to rotate while our foot is planted. So that is very important. Okay, next up, we get to do some elbow cars. So a little smaller muscles here. I'm going to have you standing with the arms at the sides, like so, and we're going to work on supination and pronation first. So now, arms staying at the sides, you're going to come up about a 90-degree bend. Okay, and we're going to fold over and come back. And you want to try to go as far as you can. So you're going to fold over as much as you can. It might be further than me. And then back, rotating as far as you can. Again, it might be a little further than I can go. Let's just get a couple more of these. Try not to let any other part of your body move. And observe, do you feel a lot in your wrists? Or do you feel more in your elbow and the tissues around your elbow? Because your wrists are going to try to help out. Nice. Now we're going to add the flexion and extension as with the knees. So we're here. We're going to pull up as high as you can. Fold over. Press down. Good. Biceps don't move now as we open up. Pull. Fold over. And down. Now we're going to reverse it, so top of the hands come up. Rotate like you're opening a book. Extend. Fold. Pull up like you're opening a book. Extend all the way. Okay, you can shake those out. Very nice. Now we get to do some shoulder cars. So we'll do the rest of the upper body. So for this one, what I'm going to have you do is go with a staggered stance. You're going to have your right foot forward, your left foot slightly back. Okay, so you'll be like this. And I'm going to have you put your right hand on your right knee, and you're going to pull a little bit for a little leverage. And we're going to do left shoulder cars. So we're here. Little tuck of the pelvis, pulling with the right arm. Left arm comes up towards the sky. Internally rotate. Reach back behind you. Down. Hold that internal rotation, and we're going to reach back. Meet that resistance. Externally rotate as you reach up, up, up. Keep the arm as high as you can. Across your chest and down. We're going to do another one here. So I'll show you from this angle. So here we're pulling with the right. Bring that arm across, up as high as you can. As you meet resistance, internally rotate. As you reach way back behind you, keep internally rotating. Good. Then you're going to reverse. Hold that rotation. As you meet resistance, that's when we start externally rotating. Reach up, up, up. Bring that arm across the body and down. Whew, shake it out a moment. Take a couple breaths. I love that angle. Just personally, that feels really good for my shoulders. The weight gravity acts on it. As you're doing this, if you find you feel better being a little more upright or a little more tipped forward, you can certainly play with the angle of your body. So now, left foot's going to be forward. Left hand on that left knee, pulling a little bit. Get a little tuck of that pelvis. Good. And that right shoulder is coming across and up. Internally rotating. Palm turns back and up. Keep fighting for more rotation as you reach back and come down to your side. Reverse. Reach back and up. Start rotating externally as you meet resistance. Reach up. Coming across and down. Whew. All right, and for this next rep, think about chest, torso, staying straight on, not rotating. So, same deal. Reaching up and across. Elbow pointing straight. Rotate as we reach back. Nice. Coming down. Then we're going to reverse it. Palm goes back and up. Externally rotate, not pushing through pain, reach up, and pulling across. Whew. Okay, you can relax there. We're getting warmed up nicely. So, next up, we're going to work the wrists. All right. You can do this standing. I'm going to be down here just so you get a little bit better angle for my wrists, so you can see what's going on better, but you can do this standing, seated, kneeling, whatever is comfortable for you. We're going to start with your left wrist. And all I want you to do is move your wrist gently in a circle, all right, without too much focus. So it can be really tough to dissociate wrist from elbow because we want to turn like that. So all I want you to think about is elbows in at your side, forearm is not moving, and where can you move your wrist with low tension? Okay, of course I'm kind of doing cars, but I just want you to start getting used to moving your wrist without anything else. There we go. I'll just take a peek here. Because the tendency is when we go to turn, elbow goes with it. So imagine you're balancing something on your forearm. And recognize that if you don't practice this a lot, it's not going to be perfect, and that's totally fine. So now we're going to bring a little bit more attention to it, or attention to detail. So nothing changes here. You're going to extend your wrist, showing me your palm, rotate towards your pinky, pull up, rotate towards your thumb, and extend down. Rotate towards your pinky, pull up, rotate towards your thumb, extend down. Then we're going to reverse it. So, rotate towards your thumb. This is that tough corner, doesn't want to do a lot. Pull up, rotate towards your pinky, extend down. When in doubt, just go nice and slow. We'll go one more here, forearm not moving. A good indicator that you're doing something right is that your forearm is burning. Nice. Not that, if it's not, that doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong, but shake it out a moment. Okay, and we'll go to the other side. Now what's really interesting here is oftentimes the joint health is correlated with how easy this is. So for some people, it's really hard to coordinate on one side and much easier on the other. So same first step here, we're just going really easy. I just want you to imagine everything up to your wrist is stone. And then this is allowed to move. And just explore that, really low intensity, keep it easy. Get a sense of how much it moves. Okay. Then we'll add a little more focus to it. So same process, forearm's not moving. We're going to extend, rotate towards the pinky, pull up, rotate towards the thumb. Extend, go towards the pinky, pull up, towards the thumb. And that thumb side, that's going to be a little bit tougher. Now, as we come down into extension, we're going to reverse it. So we're going to go towards the thumb, pull up, towards the pinky, extend. One more here. Make sure you're breathing. Sometimes when we're focusing on the little parts, the breathing stops. Well, not completely. I'd probably notice that. So, all right, shake it out a little bit. We're going to do some more of that a little later on. But now what we're going to do is come down and we'll focus on the hips for a little bit, and then we'll come back to elbows and wrists. So if you have a yoga block or something similar, that would be great. We're going to work a little bit of knee flexion and extension and hip internal rotation. So first, I'm going to have you lying down, and you're going to have your block. I'm going to go wide, like so. You don't need a wall. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to squeeze that block. Okay, keep a nice little tuck of the pelvis, and we're going to just extend our knees and pull them back down. So just getting a little extra knee flexion and extension with a little squeeze. Up, pull them back down as far as you can. Up, back down. If you're squeezing something firm, you'll get a little massage here, a little active massage in the inside of your thigh. Then bring your legs down for a moment. You can relax for a sec. And we're going to work some internal rotation. And you only have to do one set of this today. Or you only get to. So we're going to do internal rotation of the thighs, which will kick the ankles out. Okay, so I'm going to show you that. I'm going to have you follow along with me. So you're going to squeeze your knees. Slowly rotate internally with the thighs. Hold. Wonderful. Slowly bring the feet back. Touch the feet together. Push. Slowly rotate back. Out. As far as you can go, hold. Slowly rotate them back in. Press your feet together. We're going to do 2 more. Rotate. Thighs rotate internally. Ankles go out. Hold. Bring them back. Keep that tuck of the pelvis. Press your feet together. Last one here. Rotate. Rotate. Meet that resistance. Push through it. See how far you can get. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. 3, 2, 1. Slowly bring the feet back. And you can bring them down. Whew. Okay. So a little fun for the hips. Internal rotation, always a good thing to work on. It's not always the most comfortable, but if you focus on that squeeze, sometimes it can make it a little bit better. Now, we're going to stretch a little bit of the tissues we were just working. So we're going to go into a little pigeon stretch. So I'm going to have you step your left leg back, cross your right leg underneath you in whatever way is comfortable for you, and you're going to slide back with this left leg. And I'm going to have you up on your hands, like so, as long as that is comfortable for you. And we'll take a couple breaths here. Then what we get to do is some scapular cars. So hands are going to be out in front of you a little bit. They can be wider than shoulder width. Comfortable stretch on this right hip, and we're going to pinch ourselves in with the shoulder blades. There we go. And press away. Nice. Pinching in and press away. And just looking, I think, Melissa, I suspect you might be more comfortable if you put your hands further in front of you. It might be a little less stress on the shoulders. Yeah. So for any of you, if your arms are right down here, that might be a little bit tough, but you can move them out a little bit. So now we'll do a couple more. Pinching in, pressing away. Spine's not changing, pinching in. Really press away. Really press away. Then from here, again, we don't want anything changing at the ribcage or spine. You're going to shrug up towards your ears and pull down toward your hips. Shrug up toward the ears. Pull down toward the hips. Good, just a couple more like that. Exploring. Up and pulling down. Shrugging up and pulling down. Then we get to maintain this position, and we're going to do a few bends with the knees. So try to keep whatever position you've got, not letting the pelvis move. You're going to pull that left heel towards your butt. Hold for a second. And bring it back. If that felt okay, great. I want you to pull a little more aggressively on this next rep. So we're going to pull, squeeze the hamstrings. Slowly let it down. Keep that pelvis solid so we're not arching the back as we pull. pull in, extend. I want us to get 2 more reps here. Pull in, extend. Last one. So these are just biceps curls, but for your legs. And relax. You can ease out of there. Shake out those legs a little bit. So in that position, we're in a little bit more hip extension. So the knee flexion from there can be a little bit more challenging. And there's a tendency for the pelvis to want to compensate. So that position helps us sort of lock that in a little bit. So we're going to do the same thing other side. Scapular cars will be a little different. We're going to put them all together to do full cars. So same process, we're going to cross the left leg, slide the right leg back. Okay, like so. There we are. Find a comfortable stretch for you. Nice. Whatever feels good. Then, arms will be out a little bit in front. As we move the shoulder blades, back and rib cage stay pretty fixed. So we're going to do full cars here. We're going to pinch in, shrug up toward the ears, press ourselves away, pull down toward the hips. Pinch in, shrug up toward the ears, press ourselves away, pull down toward the hips. One more that direction, pinching in, shrugging up, pressing away, pulling down. And then we'll reverse. So we're pulled down, we're going to press away, shrug up, pinch in, pull down. Follow that same direction here. Nice and smooth, pulling down at the end. Big circle. Make sure you're breathing. As you finish this rep, you're going to just get yourself nice and solid. Okay? Try to maintain your position, maintain a little tuck here, and we're going to pull that right heel towards the butt. Get a nice squeeze. Bring it back. First one's like a test. Sometimes we cramp up a little bit, so then you can go a little more aggressively if that felt good. I want you to really squeeze, try to close that angle. Nice. Slowly bring it back. We're going 5 reps total. Big squeeze. Good. Looking good, everybody. Walter, very solid with the spine there. No compensation. That's great. So 5 reps total. Slowly bring it down after the 5th rep. Whew. Okay, so now what's fun, so we got a little bit of passive work on the hip, a little passive stretch. Now we're going to do a little active. So you get to lie down, so just active naps. But what we're going to do is I'll actually have you go crossing your left leg over your right. All right, and if it's comfortable, I'm going to have you pull your legs up. You can use your hands to help if you'd like to. So we're going to pull up like this. All right. Get a little bit of a stretch. So external rotation, not so dissimilar from what we were in the pigeon. You're going to pull as high as you can go. If this right hip doesn't want to help, you can use your arms too. Then we're going to remove the right leg and try to hold the left leg here. First rep's going to be a little challenging. So hold your position. I will show you first. You don't have to do anything. So I'm going to move my right leg away and try to hold and then bring it back. Okay, so it's a passive range hold. We're using our right leg and or our arms to pull into external rotation for our left leg. Then I want you to slowly move that right leg away, hold that external rotation, Then you can bring the right leg back. Nice. Slowly move the right leg away. Hold. Bring the right leg back. Using your hands or using the leg or both, pull in one more time as far as you can pull. Slowly let go and hold. 3, 2, 1. You can relax. Take a few breaths here. So after passive inputs like massage or stretching, as we did with the pigeon stretch, more active inputs such as cars, isometrics, or these passive range holds are a great way to reinforce that stretch. So now you get to do the other side. All right, so I'm going to be a little different here. This is my injured side, but you're going to do the same thing. I want you to just first start by pulling. And if you don't want to use your arms, you can use your other leg entirely to pull. You can also help. All right, get ready. You're going to find that position. You're going to slowly remove the left leg. Hold as much external rotation as you can with the right. Nice. Pull back up. Return that left leg. Return the help. Pull up. Slowly release it and try to hold as much of that range as you can. Observe how much you lose. Observe how much you keep. Glass half full. One more time. Bring that left leg back. Isn't it fun when I talk, when you're doing these holds and it makes you do it longer? Last one. Slowly let go with the left leg. Hold with the right. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Whew. Wonderful. Really well done. Okay. So just more active napping there. So again, really nice way there to help reinforce some of the stretching. Wanted to get us a nice hip stimulus in there. And now we're going back to the elbows. So for the elbows, we are going to do some isometrics. And if you're tired of being on the floor and kneeling, you can certainly stand. I'm just going to maintain my kneeling position though. Probably pop a block under me. All right, so we're going to do some pronation and supination isometrics for the elbows. So pronation is here, supination is here. We're going to clasp our hands like so, and we're going to go with a pronation effort. So that means you're going to drive your hands with this intent. Okay, think about doing it like 50% of your max effort, which I know it's hard to gauge, just don't go all out. So you're going to press. So if your hands weren't there, your palms would turn downward. Hold and relax. Okay, nice. Then it's like, oh man, I can do that. That's easy. Now we're going to do the opposite. So you're going to try to pull them apart. So you're going to clasp, pull. Good. Hold a little longer and relax. Okay, so that is supination. Both very, very important. Now we're going to add extension and flexion to that effort. So you can go whatever angle towards or away from your body you want to go. You could go straight down. You could go out a little bit like this. Okay, so we're going to go with the pronation effort. You're going to press like this, and I want you to start really small. So bend the elbows up here. Start pressing in gently. Good. Now build it up to 40, 50% effort. Build it up to 60 to 70% of your max, but it's tolerable and it's sustainable. Now hold that effort and straighten your elbows. But you're holding it the whole time. Straighten all the way. Maintain that effort as long as it's not painful. Pull back. pull back, all the way up. Bend your elbows as much as you can, maintaining that effort. One more time, slowly extend, and observe how your strength might change throughout that range of motion. Extend all the way, holding that pronation effort, and pull back one more time to full flexion and relax. Okay, so if you're ever worried about grip strength, forearm strength, any of that, you don't have equipment, you do have equipment. You can always do this stuff. So shake it out a moment. We're going to do the opposite effort as well. You can also do this with a pole or a bar. You can hold them like this, which some of you have done. I know Adam's done. So now it's the same effort, except we're trying to pull away. We're going to do essentially the same thing. And just for fun, let's start in extension this time. Okay, so you're clasping. You're doing this effort, trying to pull away. So try to pull away, slowly build it up. We're gently prying. Now prying a little bit harder. A little bit harder. Good. Hold this effort. Bend your elbows. Squeeze as much flexion as you can. Slowly extend. Slowly extend. Good. All the way. Feel your triceps squeeze. Hold that supination effort, and we're pulling in. Pulling in, pulling in, pulling in. All the way. And relax. Whew. Very nice. Yeah, that gets a lot of things working. What's nice is after this, if you try some pronation, supination, feels super easy. Forearms feel really light. Okay, so we can relax there for a moment, and what I'm going to have us do next is some elbow cars prone. So now we're going to do less loaded, but a little bit more stretched. So we don't often feel this stretch when doing elbow cars. But now what I'm going to have us do is you're going to be here with the elbow out in front of you. And think about your spine and pelvic position. It's not going to be necessarily perfect, but I want you to do your best to not be super extended. So if you get a nice full exhale, that'll help bring your rib cage down. Like so. And we're going to have our elbow out like this, so we get a stretch. There we go. Now, I've got a pretty big gap here. That's my shoulder flexion on this side is not ideal, but I want you to find your deepest stretch. Okay, we're going to extend our arm. Good. If you can find more of a stretch, go for it. Now, we're going to pull our hand as close as we can towards our shoulder. It's kind of like what we did with our knees. Good. Now we're going to extend. You can even, depending on the clearance you have, you can even put a block under your arm or your hand. I'm going to have you rotate before we pull back. Sorry. So now you're going to turn your palm over. Now pull back. Top of the hand toward your shoulder. Now rotate again and extend. Good. Rotate palm down. Pull the back of the hand up towards your shoulder. Find a deep stretch. Pull as far as you can. Rotate again and extend. Whew. Now we're going to do just one more rep from here because we're doing a lot of these. Pull the palm towards your shoulder. As far as you can. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Rotate the palm away. Press down towards the floor. And you can relax. Whew. Okay, so if you were at the end range of your shoulder flexion, or close to, you probably felt a pretty good stretch there and a good bit of burning. Because as you do your elbow cars, it's going to stretch all of these tissues as well. So now we get to do the same thing with the other side. All right, so you're going to find your flexion. Okay, try to keep a little tuck of the pelvis, rib cage down. You're going to find a big stretch in that shoulder. For me personally, I like to just sneak my fingers under here. It feels like I can control it a little more. Make sure my shoulder doesn't move. All right, so now we're just going to squeeze up as much as you can. Find a nice stretch. Feel the biceps working. Good. Extend. Now you're rotating your palm down towards the floor. Pull the top of the hand up towards the shoulder. Close that gap as much as you can. Rotate your palm towards your shoulder and extend. Fold your palm down again towards the floor. Pull the top of the hand up. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Rotate your palm towards the shoulder. Slowly extend. All right, one more, pulling the palm towards the shoulder this time. Palm pulls towards the shoulder. Squeeze. Close that range. I know there's some fatigue. Turn the palm away. Press it down toward the floor. Whew. All right. Nicely done there. Get a little burning going on. Got the elbows and the shoulders working. So as with other parts of our body, it's great to get the joints moving, but then we also want to be able to move them when they're in different orientations. So now we get to sneak in some extra wrist stuff. So the wrists, we want to make sure we have good wrist extension or decent wrist extension. Okay, we're going to do both at the same time. We're going to do passive range holds. So, as with other joints, we want to make sure that we have some decent active control and not just passive. With our wrists, when we rock forward, this is extension. If you rock forward as much as you can, that is your maximal passive range of motion. Now you can do this, and I would recommend on your own trying this out one wrist at a time. Today we're going to do both. So we're going to rock forward as much as we can, then we're going to peel back and see what we can control. All right, so think about keeping the hands planted, rocking your weight forward. Do not get into a painful range though. So wherever you can get to without pain. Then I want you to slowly lean your body back and try to peel your fingers and hands off the floor as soon as you possibly can. Yes. Now you can return. And what you'll feel is the forearms and top of the hands really firing up. So next, what I want you to focus on is rock forward as much as you can. Try to consciously contract those tissues, the hands and the forearms, before you even start moving. Start peeling back. Hold. And relax. Okay, now I'll bring one more thing to your attention. We're going to do two more. Try to keep your elbows straight. Okay, so as we do this, you're rocking forward. Elbows are straight. Get your max range. Slowly lean back. Elbows stay straight. Peel, peel, peel. Hold. Whew. Relax. We'll do one more. So, yeah, observe what you're feeling and how much range you lose. Ideally, we don't want to lose more than about 15 or 20 degrees. Realistically, most people lose a lot more. But this is a good way to bridge that gap. So one more here. You get to do one more. Lean in. Find that beautiful stretch. Contract before you even start moving. Imagine it peeling, even if it's not. Peel, 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 peel. Hold. And relax. Okay. So if you notice a lot of passive range, if you can get really far but you have a lot of trouble peeling back, do these passive range holds. Wrist cars are also a really good way to improve that active range. And now we're going to do some wrist cars. If you I'll give you the option. You can do it with a ball or with a block or something similar, something that you're gripping. Okay, so I'm going to do it with a block. We'll go with your right arm first. Elbow can be bent about 90 degrees. You don't have to kneel. You can be whatever position you want to be in. All right, just like we did in the beginning, except this time I really want you squeezing the crap out of whatever you're holding. Okay? So you're going to squeeze. We're going to extend. That'll feel familiar. Rotate towards your pinky. Pull up. Rotate towards your thumb. Now, whatever you're gripping, we're going to extend. Think about keeping the same amount of surface area on that as you can. As you hit different ranges here, your fingers and or your palm will probably want to try to slide off because they're going to try to compensate for the wrist. As you come up into flexion here, pulling towards you, we're going to reverse it. So go towards your pinky, extend, go towards your thumb, pull up. Good. Whatever you're gripping, squeeze it tight. Squeeze it tight. This can be pretty humbling. One more rep here. I actually filmed, for those in the membership, I filmed a wrist class, and it's pretty brutal in a fun way. You can relax there. So this is like a intro because wrists and forearms, when you get to a certain amount of volume, they just tap out. It's really tough. So then we'll go with the other one here. Same deal. We're going to squeeze tight. We're going to extend, rotate towards your pinky, pull up, rotate towards your thumb. One of the things that can be fun about using either a block or a stick or something something that's a different shape is you get like a visual representation of your rotation. So big rotation, squeeze really tight. I'm pretty impressed here. I'm looking around. Our shoulders and the rest of our body are staying pretty solid. There's a tendency, now as we come up here, reverse towards the pinky, extend. There's a tendency to sort of like contract the whole side of the body. But you all are doing pretty well. Good, big rotation here. And what I found is really neat, while this is smaller tissues, it changes the amounts of tension you can relax here. In the whole rest of the body, I always feel like my entire rest of the body is just lighter when the fingers and wrists and elbows have been given a lot of attention. So, what we're going to do next is, we're almost there. We're going to do elbow closed kinetic chain cars. That's a mouthful. So, some of us have done this with the hips, where I've had you plant your feet. What I'm going to have you do is plant your palms, PYP, plant your palms, and we're going to rotate your elbows, or your shoulders rather. So by rotating your shoulders internally and externally, you're also turning your elbows. All right, elbows are moving as a product of the shoulders. And you can get, like, your hands don't need to stay perfectly glued down. All right, now I'm just tricking you into push-ups. Now you're just going to bend your elbows and extend. Okay, so we're just working flexion and extension. Just as we do with the other cars, except this time there's a little more resistance. And the closer your knees are to you, the easier this will be. Now we're going to put it together. So imagine you're trying to draw a big circle with your elbows. In order to do that, we're going to have to rotate. So I can walk you through it here. You're going to bend your elbows, rotate your shoulders internally so your elbows go way out. Then you start extending, elbows go in, elbows kick out, extend, elbows go in, bend, and then as you come up, then we'll reverse it. So think about, first movement is shoulder internal rotation, turning in, bend, Elbows go in, extend. Bend, elbows pull in, extend. A couple more here. So you're essentially just making a little circle with your elbows, just like that. So we're trying to move them as much as we can while keeping the hands mostly planted. Last one. Excellent. You can relax there. Okay, and shake them out for a moment. I'm going to have us do a little bit of breathing here, and then we're going to finish off with a set of push-ups because I just can't not have you do that. So hopefully that made some sense.
I promise it's not because of the push-ups, though. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Melissa. So we're going to do some breathing like we did in the beginning for a minute or two. Then we'll do one set of push-ups. One thing you can do, so I'd like you to have your arms extended. They don't have to be on the ground. If you have that range of motion, that's great. You could keep your arms wider and try to glue your fists down if you can. Okay, so you can reach out like a Y and glue them down. If you have good range of motion and you have something heavy, you could also reach back and like grab onto the underside of your couch or a dumbbell. All right, then what we're going to do is breathe, and as you bring your ribs down, you will feel a deep stretch. And you'll get some resistance that might help you actually feel that pulling down of the ribs. So, first step, just take a comfortable inhale. Step 2, nice big exhale. Blow all the air out. And breathe into your back as you breathe. Feel that stretch in your arms. Fully exhale. Hold for a moment if you can. Breathe in. Full exhale. Everything out. Hold. Breathe in. Go for one more like that. One more just like that. Feeling that pull as the ribs pull away from the shoulders with the exhale. It's adding more resistance to your exhale. We're training your exhale. And get a nice inhale. Beautiful. Then, I know it was risky to get you doing that right at the end of class before push-ups, but I wanted to give the arms a little bit of a break. We're just going to do 2 push-ups, kinetic stretching style. So we've worked on just about everything, wrists, elbows, now we're putting it all together. So we're going to be going super slow. I will walk you through the first one. You can take a rest before number 2, okay? Second push-up, not just to clarify. So what we're going to do, solid position. You can go from the knees if that's better for you. Okay, we're going to protract the shoulders, retract, pinching down. Elbows start bending. You can rotate those elbows or shoulders however you want. Slowly pull yourself down as low as you can go, but do not rest. Drive slowly through the floor to come back. Nothing changes. Slowly drive up. 3, 2, 1. If you need a rest, you can take it. Otherwise, you're going to do the same thing. You're protracting, retract, pulling yourself down. Control. Take 10.